Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Everyone ready to go? All right. Let us know when you're all ready. Okay. You're all ready to go? Well, terrific. It's wonderful to be out here on a beautiful Queensland Sunshine Coast morning. And it's terrific to be on the Sunshine Coast as part of the Queensland branch of the Australian Labor Party's state conference. We've heard from the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, yesterday, and the Premier. There's been a lot of discussion, of course, about our Queensland Energy and Jobs Plan and our leadership on delivering more homes for Queenslanders more quickly. It's wonderful to be here in the electorate of Caloundra with a local member, Jason, and also we've been joined in this region, of course, by Rob Skelton, the member for Nicklin. And we're also joined today by Acting Mayor Councillor Rick Babarowski. And as you can see, Rick is an avid supporter of electric vehicles and this wonderful new community that is being built. We're here today to inspect some of the work that is going on in terms of delivering the homes for the 20,000 families that will call the Aura region their home into the future. Today we're also announcing a $75 million investment into the energy network here in this region. This is public investment as part of the Queensland Energy and Jobs Plan to make sure that these homes are future-proof. They're going to be the homes of tomorrow. We know that some of the builders here, as part of this development, are offering fully electric homes. That means they come standard with solar, you can add in a battery, they'll be electric vehicle capable, and that's important. We know that Queenslanders are flocking to developments like this that offer them the sort of lifestyle that means that they can make a contribution to reducing emissions and, of course, reducing the cost of living by addressing their power bills. We are building the electricity network of the future. It'll ensure the Sunshine Coast remains a hub for residential growth and, importantly, commercial development. We know that the people that will call this community home will be able to see integration of things like batteries into their homes. We'll have LED streetlights, an enormous amount of rooftop solar that can only be supported by a strong and resilient electricity grid. And that's what this $75 million investment being announced by the Palaszczuk government today delivers. So I want to thank Jason for his advocacy to ensure that the people that he represents have access to a reliable, secure, strong and publicly owned electricity system, one that enables them to lower the cost of living through this investment. Jason.
Thanks very much. It's delightful to welcome the Minister Mick de Brenni here and also Acting Mayor Rick Babarowski. Anytime the government wants to throw $75 million into this community, I'm all for it. I think it's absolutely marvellous. What we do know also is that 30 million of that will go out to tender, which means some of that will go to local companies, which means that it will end up being reinvested in other ways back into our community. So anytime someone wants to come up here with bags of money and throw it into the Caloundra community, I'm all in favour of that. What we do know is that this is one of the most rapidly growing areas in the state of Queensland. Interstate migration into Queensland is absolutely enormous, and a lot of them are coming here. When when this area is fully developed, we're looking at about 50,000 people in 20,000 dwellings. The construction of this new substation will not only mean that their power supply is guaranteed, but it will also take a lot of emphasis and a lot of work off the existing Caloundra substation, so that's good news for everyone. So it'll mean that it is more energy ready and it is more disaster resilience in case we have some natural disasters or difficulties in the future. It is a welcome, forward-thinking, large investment, and as the local member and a long-term community member, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome it. I might ask Rick if he has a few words.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, and welcome, Minister de Brenni. Pleasure to see you here. And look, I think the key thing for me because I've seen this development from day one, is that this community has a different relationship to sort of energy consumption generally from day one. The whole thing's master planned so that you think about the energy and energy efficiency of the building. Solar's about 40% installed already, and the active transport network here is probably better than most. So people can have a different attitude day one to energy consumption. But having said that, of course, as a new community, along with communications or water, all the services, transport, you've got to have a really good energy grid that these days takes energy in as well as out. Because we all know that the technology is moving towards where, well, probably won't be an e-bike, but it'll certainly be an EV car. You'll use the batteries to help support and supply electricity to your home in the future, and that'll be in the near future. So it's a real pleasure to be part of this. Thank you very much for coming here for the investment in the Sunshine Coast power grid. Much needed and much appreciated. Thanks a lot.
Might ask Nicola Roscoe from Energy Queensland to say a few words about the technical side of the project, please, Nicola.
So as the Minister's outlined, this is a $75 million investment by Energex in the South Caloundra Sunshine Coast area. It consists of a new circuit from Meridian Plains down to a new substation that will be built at Bells Creek. It will supply around about 50,000 customers and small businesses in the area, and will also provide some flexibility in terms of removing some load from the existing Caloundra substation, which will help us when we manage large storm events and other unexpected events in the future. We're due to start some of the planning on the project next year, with civil construction starting in 2024. We hope to have the substation online early 2027, and this really is going to be a network for the future, with the homes in the area being able to have their solar, charge their electric vehicles, export back into the grid from this area. We've designed it with that in mind, with the network of the future in mind. So we're very pleased to start work on this project. It's been something that we've been planning for a long time. Thank you.
Questions? Sure. Okay.
You're investing into this area. Is there enough money being put into other power stations such as Caloundra?
Oh, absolutely. We're very confident that the investment of our publicly owned electricity companies is making sure that Queenslanders have a secure and reliable electricity system. Right now, of course, most Queenslanders are consuming this incredible solar, this infinite renewable energy resource that we have at our disposal here in Queensland. We're very confident that moving forward that we'll have adequate supply, and in fact the CEO of Powerlink this morning has advised me that we will have adequate supply going forward.
So is the failure of Caloundra?
Just a moment, can I just get you to, your sticker on that thing is just, thank you. Sorry.
Is the failure of Caloundra?
Sorry.
Is the failure of Caloundra power station good enough?
Is the failure of it good enough?
Yeah, is it good enough for Queensland?
Well, this is an old-fashioned power station that does take a lot of maintenance. The recent structural flaw is in a timber radiator. You wouldn't build infrastructure like this going forward. That's why we're investing in new renewables, wind, solar, and this sort of energy infrastructure that you see here on the Sunshine Coast.
It's been described as business as usual, the failure of 4 generators. Is that really business as usual for a power station to have 4 generators fail at the same time?
Oh, look, it's unfortunate. I'm confident the engineers out there will do a good job of getting that back up online as safe and as soon as they can.
What's your message to Queenslanders? Obviously you're investing in energy here, which would no doubt be welcome news for many Queenslanders. What's your message to those Queenslanders who are concerned about the amount of energy that's on the grid and going forward, going into summer, going into the peak days?
Our message is simple. We have a strong, publicly owned, resilient system. Just to give you some context for that, demand across Queensland at the moment is 4,000 megawatts, and the available energy is 9,500. So there's adequate supply.
The Prime Minister she's waiting on a briefing from you on Monday
Yep.
about this particular incident. Is that a good enough time frame to be working towards?
Yeah, look, there's adequate supply. There's no need for an emergency response in these circumstances.
It's not an issue that needs a more timely response.
No,
I'll
there's...
speak for this weekend while you're at the conference.
Of course, we talk every day, but there's no crisis of energy supply. There's obviously an energy price problem that is focusing everyone's attention, but Queensland, our message is that we have adequate supply, and that's because we've kept the energy system in public ownership.
The opposition wants a full and independent inquiry into what's happened. Do you support that?
Well, there's already an investigation by the Division of Workplace Health and Safety, and of course we take our responsibility to manage our energy assets fully. I'm advised that all of the regulatory obligations and the good engineering practice obligations are always met on all of our energy system.
Do you think it's time to move into a more modern system? Do you think it's time to invest in more modern infrastructure if you're saying that this is no longer viable?
Oh, absolutely. That's why we've announced a $62 billion Queensland Energy and Jobs Plan. That's all about the energy system of the future, and the energy system of the future is not about old-fashioned, hard-to-maintain equipment. It is about new technology, new wind, solar, building the largest pumped hydroelectric scheme in the world in North Queensland. The Barumba pumped hydro just up the road from here that'll create over 2,500 jobs, which will be a significant storage of the solar that's generated in this very community. So we're absolutely committed to an energy system of the future. As we build that over the coming decade with our $62 billion investment, maintaining public ownership, we'll make sure that all of the obligations around delivering adequate supply and reliable supply from our existing generators is met through that transition.
What are the implications if another power station somewhere else faces an unforeseen failure at the moment?
Oh, look, we have adequate supply at the moment, and it's important that we continue to back in our government-owned corporation workforce. The men and women on our power stations for decades have done a stellar job of maintaining that plant, and they'll continue to do that. They're out there every day making sure that we're maintaining them to the relevant standards, the relevant OEM requirements. We're obviously conscious that Queenslanders want to transition into independent energy resources that they own and make. That's why builders like the one just here behind us are offering solar as standard on these properties. They're building these homes, they have batteries in them. I think into the future, more and more Queenslanders won't want to rely on the grid for their energy. They want to rely on their own home to provide that energy. That's the direction we're headed in.
So is there no risk of blackouts at the moment?
No, there is no risk of blackouts at the moment. The available energy supply today is more than double what is currently being consumed. Any other questions? No problems. Thanks for coming out. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mayor. Thank you. All right.